I had the gnarliest night and morning this morning. I had the worst dreams, like not nightmares, but very emotionally heavy dreams. And I woke up with like my heart beating really quickly, which has happened the last 3 or 4 nights. I've woken up with anxiety, and I have to be super intentional about how I cope with that anxiety. So I try to do a meditation in the morning on the Insight Timer app, and I will also like not really scroll. I'll listen to relaxing music. The Vibe and Thrive playlist on Spotify is the best for this. And I'll try to breathe heavily while I'm getting ready, like take deep breaths, like box breathe, like 4 in, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold, and like repeat that over and over again. And I will not drink like a cold brew coffee, because I've heard that cold brew coffee can really add to your, honestly, like anxiety in the morning. I need coffee to wake up. So I have tried to like be mild about my coffee consumption, like not do a super strong, heavily brewed drink. I made this homemade pumpkin creamer because I love all the things pumpkin, and I don't apologize for that. So I made a homemade creamer, and then I bought a mason jar over the weekend, and I put the creamer in the jar. So every morning I just shake it up and then I pour it in my coffee. It is such a delight. I highly recommend. We need these little things to get us going in the morning, like these little rituals and these little delights to help us in our morning. Because I heard something over the weekend that our nervous system is just getting regulated in the first hours of being awake. And so scrolling, jumping out of bed and starting to get ready immediately, looking at emails, reading texts, like getting in that vibe of like, I need to meet my responsibilities within the first hour of waking up is actually like the worst thing you can do for your nervous system, because then you're literally in fight or flight the entire day. I was trying to do all of these things to avoid being super anxious after my dreams. And I had a snafu this morning with my kids' transportation to work. And so I had to spend all morning, like the first hour of the morning, calling, texting, trying to get it figured out. I ended up having to take them, which meant I had to let my boss know I was going to miss my first class, which is like bad as a teacher, like, because then my boss has to try to figure out who's going to teach the class, and I have to send over the lesson plans in the morning on my cell phone while I'm driving and trying to figure out morning transportation. So it was just extremely stressful, and I have to say I handled it like a fucking star. I was calm the entire way to drop my kids off to school, because I don't want to like inflect on them my dysregulated nervous system and my stress, so that then they have to go to school all day with a dysregulated nervous system. So I took some deep breaths. I loaded them in the car. I drove them to school. They got there with 3 minutes to spare. I was delightful the entire way. I skedaddled them on their way, and then I had to do these intense breathing exercises on the way to work, like where I was breathing in through my nose and then going like trying to like release the tension that had built up in my system from all of that stress in the morning. And I had to do like a few really verbal, like guttural breaths, like exhales out to get back to a normal place of homeostasis. And then when I got to work, I got back in the flow, and my nervous system eventually like evened out. But I will probably write in my journal a little bit this morning in between classes. I've been drinking water instead of filling up my mug of coffee again, because I don't need to be having more coffee and caffeine on a morning where I'm already kind of like, the nervous system is vulnerable, right? And I'm just going to do the things that like speak to my soul this morning. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to go on a walk this afternoon during lunch instead of like scrolling or running to Target or doing something else. I'm going to walk intentionally and ground. And these are the things that I'm doing to regulate the nervous system and deal with the stress of living in 2023.